What is going on? Good morning. It is Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Welcome to today's show. It is Wednesday. It is July 16th. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? A lot to talk about today, including a big ticket item for the raffle. I'm talking, this is the biggest raffle that we've ever had, okay? You guys came up with the idea yesterday. More on that in just a minute. Kalen DeBoer was at the main stage this morning, SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, along with Deontay Lawson, Tim Keenan, and Caden Proctor, discussing Alabama's preseason. And I love the interview, to be honest. So I'm going to go over the high points of the interview later on today. I'll upload a portion of Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. But look, he said the right things. I think, he was accountable for some of the things that didn't go how we wanted them to go last year, and he talked a lot about mental focus. I personally heard from a source yesterday, okay, that is with these guys during the summertime, that this is one of the hardest and most challenging summer practice periods that they've ever had, period. Okay, that's coming from some guys that have been there for a long time. So heard that from a source, and we'll dive into it today. So we'll go over the high points of Coach Kalen DeBoer, and today's show will be all about the Alabama Crimson Tide. I appreciate you guys being here. Please let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. I always appreciate the feedback, and I love, talking Alabama football. So I feel like, we're a little bit closer, right? It feels like when SEC Media Days is here, it's like we're in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Like the summertime, we're like started out on the 10-yard line, and you got to kind of get through that springtime and the summertime. But now I feel like we're in the red zone. So Kalen DeBoer up at the podium. We'll high point it today, and then later on, probably like at 12 p.m., I'll probably upload the actual press conference. But let me get to it today, and let me go over our huge, extraordinary raffle, okay? So listen up here, because what we got going on for the raffle, I think you're really going to like. So let me explain it real quick. So we got game tickets. All right, so I got game tickets. I got front row seats for Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe. You guys wanted a big ticket item? Well, here you go, okay? So $25 to get it in the raffle, Venmo, Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube, okay? Let me read it out. 2 front row tickets to Bama's home opener, Under the Lights, Alabama, Louisiana Monroe, Section C, Row 2. It's an insane view. Saturday, September 6th, 6:45, Bryant-Denny Stadium. There's Nick Saban Field, all right? The tickets will be sent to you on September 5th. That's when the tickets go out, okay? You guys wanted this? You got it, okay? And here is the showcasing. Here's the view, okay? This is the view, all right? This is a $381 value, all right? So $25 to get into the raffle. Here you go. This is the view at Bryant-Denny Stadium, okay? Here's the proof that I bought the ticket. So it's $371. That's the total price. So how it works, if you've ever bought online tickets, they give you the tickets the day before. So how this will work is once I get the tickets, I will email them to you. It's 2 tickets, all right? So that's what you guys wanted. That's what you guys are raffling for today, all right? So the 2 tickets to see Alabama's home opener. And you probably get to see all the quarterbacks playing a game like this. I'm not trying to throw out rat poison, but it is what it is. So now is a really good time. And I'll show this periodically throughout the show. But game tickets, season opener at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 2 tickets right on the field. Here we go, $25 to get in, all right? As we move forward with the show, have to thank our friends, sponsors, right? Sonic, America's favorite drive-in, West Memphis, Arkansas, Marion, Arkansas, where I-55 and I-40 meet, okay? Jared, I got you in Cash App. Please go to Sonic whenever you're in Arkansas and be like, you know what? Have you seen the Alabama Crimson Tide play? Why are you eating a cheese coney, all right? We also got a new, one of our fan funders actually inside the comment box, Ketchum's Travel, new sponsor of the show. Let me read this out real quick. If you've ever been to a cruise, they also do land resorts, so let me read this out real quick. Travel agency with no booking fees, 0 booking fees, all right? Specialized in cruise vacations and land-based resorts, game day travel, car rentals, and hotels. He's independently owned. You can work right with him. He's got vendors like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess Cruise Line. Hit him up. I'll post his name inside the comment box. 334-797. Ketchum's Travel is the number to call. And, of course, he's a huge Alabama football fan, all right? So Coach Kalen DeBoer took 3 very distinguished players to SEC Media Days, all right? You got Tim Keenan, and one of the high points that Coach Kalen DeBoer was talking about, he was saying, look, he's a 5th-year senior here at Alabama. Could I please get a thumbs up inside the comment box for Tim Keenan? I want to hype up Tim Keenan as much as possible. This is a player that I believed in for a long time, okay? I remember when he first got here, honestly, I never felt that Tim Keenan would be at this point. I thought he had a long way to go. Man, he has transformed his body. He has played like the alpha dog. Him coming back on the defensive side of the ball, I think is fantastic, right? You have 17 seniors in this team. He's one of them out of Birmingham. I love him. I think he represents Alabama very well. There's a soundbite going around right now that Alabama said, look, all the disrespect will be dealt with accordingly, okay? They didn't have to say too much, but that's kind of the mindset that we want for Alabama's defense, right? He's a leader on the team. He's a big brother. He's a mentor. I've mentioned the one time that I was cruising through the Mount Moore complex, he even opened the door for me. He's a gentleman, too. Caden Proctor, 3rd-year starter at Alabama, and I get it. He went to Iowa for a brief period before transferring back. Coach Kalen DeBoer pointed out that he's going to graduate this year. In fact, think about this. You think you're busy? This summer, Caden Proctor, right, 6'7", 366 pounds. He's taking 16 credit hours. That's something that stood out to me, getting that degree. I think when you look to Alabama's offensive line, they have a lot to prove. And he was very open with that today in some interviews. He's like, look, we haven't done anything so far. And I think we had some holes last year. Now, they have 3 guys that I'm really high on, Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts, Caden Proctor. But I think the offensive line is probably one of the bigger question marks after the quarterback position, right? Because if Caden Proctor and his offensive line can get things right, they can provide protection for the quarterback. You know, the one thing that we know, the one thing that we absolutely know about Alabama's offense is they got weapons. Weapons. You got to protect the quarterback. Quarterback has to be confident. He has to be consistent. And if the offensive line can provide that protection, it's going to open up lanes for our running backs, and it's going to provide throwing lanes for our quarterbacks to our deadly wide receivers and running backs. There's disrespect out there, right? And Deontay Lawson was quick to address that, and he said, look, I think all disrespect will be dealt with accordingly. And right now, one of the things that Alabama, and one of the main headlines, and I'm sure you've seen it out there, is with Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback at Florida State, and some of the comments that he made, a month ago or something like that. He has confidence. High-level players have confidence. He's trying to get Florida State excited about, hosting Alabama. But Deontay Lawson didn't go too much into that. He said, look, I think all disrespect will be dealt with accordingly. I love that mindset. And Tim Keenan said the same thing. And that's what has to be done. I mean, we're accustomed to Alabama speaking on the field based off their play, right? And I like that. And specifically from the defense, that's why I was excited that he brought 2 guys from the defensive side of the ball, right? Deontay Lawson's been here a while. And honestly, to be honest, he should, if it wasn't for that injury that he suffered this last year, he'd be in the NFL. So having him come back, I think he's the most underrated player on Alabama's team and probably the most underrated player in the SEC, if not college football, on the defensive side returning. That's how good Deontay Lawson is, okay? He's a leader. He was super excited to be at SEC Media Days. I hope that you go and support his interviews out there, right? He's the only captain, actually, that returns from last year's team. And his season, of course, was cut short by injury. Getting to Coach Kalen DeBoer, and here at around 12 p.m., I'll actually upload another interview. This was at the podium, what I'm going to talk to today. He's going to go into the electronic media room at around 11 a.m. today. That's usually a better interview because you get to ask him different questions. So that'll be the interview that I upload at 12 p.m., 12:30. Give me some time on that. But one of the things that he started off with and talking about was limited turnover from the staff overall and from the team, right? You got to think, one of the high points this springtime was that Alabama didn't lose a lot of players in the transfer portal, right? 0, actually. But also from the staff. They only lost one coach, which was Colin Hitchler, and they brought in another coach who's, from Tuscaloosa. But he says, look, only one coach, the training staff, the day-to-day people from last year, pretty much everyone is back, and that says something. And I agree with that. I think when you have a lot of people coming back, and you heard Coach Kalen DeBoer, he talked a lot about camaraderie. He talked a lot about, team mindset. Look, people are coming back, and it's, of course, we see the players, but there's so much behind the players. And when there's limited turnover, you know how it is in your work, in your daily routine of life. When there's limited turnover, when you have the same staff at work, you're able to achieve a lot because it's kind of like, hey, let's go, right? You added on Ryan Grubb, and he spoke about Ryan Grubb, and I'll get to that in just a second. One of the things that he did address, which I thought was very important, was talking about specialists. And he says, look, we lost 3 special teams players, right? Graham Nicholson, James Burnup, and Neelan Hibbett. That's going to be really challenging to replace for Alabama. And he also notated that they did play a lot of freshmen, but anytime you lose your kicker, punter, and long snapper, I think, look, if I'm playing devil's advocate and I'm trying to attack Alabama in certain ways, I'm putting pressure on their specialists, right? And these guys have to work through it. Who's going to be the kicker this year? I would imagine Connor Talty. Who's going to be the punter? Alex Oshbaroff, I guess. These are names that you haven't heard before, right? Long snapper, Cam Baird, right? You're like, who the hell are these players? Yeah, good question. And you've had very tenured players on the special teams that we were comfortable with, that were good in different situations. Had another source close to the program tell me this quick story real fast. He was saying, a couple years ago, this source was telling me on the road at Auburn, I think it was like, who was having trouble holding the snap? It might have been, was it Paul Tyson? I can't remember. Somebody was having trouble holding the snap. So the coaches got together and they're like, let's put James Burnap out there to hold, snaps for our kicker. And they're like, James Burnap, are you kidding? He hasn't done it all year. And they were like, what about the big game, him against Auburn? And they're like, and James Burnap was like, I have no idea who Auburn is. I don't care who they are. I'm from Australia. So he didn't even know the magnitude of that game. So when you don't know that there's pressure there, you just perform at a high level. Thought that was funny. I'm going to miss James Burnap, by the way. I thought he was a really good punter. 17 seniors come back for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coach Kalen DeBoer hit on these points. They're taking a lot of reps together. A lot of these guys are, putting in the absolute work in the summertime. In fact, he told a story that he went into the team meeting room just recently, and there was a meeting going on in there that he didn't know about, and it was Deontay Lawson leading a meeting with the linebackers. That's the type of leadership you want. Talked a lot about repetition and the day-by-day work, and that they've had a wonderful offseason. I've heard the same thing from people that I talked to. Before he took questions, he said, overall, we want to remain very physical. Physicality is always going to be an identity of this team. Work is the main focus of this team. Putting down the absolute work, I love that. And he talked about mindset. So those were kind of the 3 areas. After that, he went into some questions. And again, if you're just joining us, we're going over the high points for Coach Kalen DeBoer. Around 12:30, I'll upload another press conference from Coach Kalen DeBoer. He's busy from 8 a.m. to the end of the day doing interviews. But these are the high points, the things that he spoke about. He was asked about year 1, and he was asked straight up, do you feel that you lived up to the Alabama standard? Okay. And he was like, look, no, I don't. He was like, plain and simple, we fell short of the playoffs. But he is proud of the progression that the team has made. And look, out of all the things, when you kind of zoom out and look at Alabama football, I think, and let me ask you inside the comment box, have you been happy with the progression? And I get it. You probably want to see results on the field. I think that the team has made progression. I look to different areas. Recruiting has continued to be really good. I think the springtime, they did a really good job. I think in the transfer portal, they did a good job, whether retaining their roster or getting some additions that they had to. And then he kind of closed and said, look, got to take advantage of the failures. That's one of the things that he said. If you're just joining us, this is our raffle. This is our big ticket item, okay? So I got 2 front row tickets to Bama's home opener. Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe. Section C, row 2. It's an insane view. Saturday, September 6th, 6:45. Bryant-Denny Stadium. Send the tickets to you September 5th, which is the day before the game, okay? It's a value of $371. So to get into the raffle, all you got to do is Venmo Bama_YouTube, Cash App Bama YouTube. All right. And I showed at the beginning that I showed the receipt that I did buy the tickets. The total value is $371. So 2 tickets, $371 to get into the raffle, $25. There's really no cap on the raffle. You want to get in a few times, it's up to you. $25 to get in. Bama_YouTube, Cash App Bama YouTube. Try to spin the pinwheel as early as tomorrow. So let's get those raffles in. And I got a couple so far that have come in just the last few minutes. Talked about the quarterback room, and we knew that was going to be, one of the big questions. I'm glad that he wasn't asked about Coach Saban during this particular interview. I thought that honestly would have been a little bit disrespectful, considering the work that he's put in for his own program. But he was asked about the quarterback room and said, look, you have, and there was nothing earth-shaking about the quarterback room. He said everything that you kind of expected him to say. He talked about Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, said that Simpson would be the guy if they had a game this Saturday, challenged all of them to improve. He said that Simpson has been here for 4 years. Remember, Ty Simpson's 22 years old. Said Austin Mack is absolutely massive at 6'6", 235 pounds, and that Keelan Russell is still learning the system, and he's made huge strides. But he said, look, these quarterbacks are under pressure. And he said it's 2 tickets. Those are 2 tickets, just to make sure. The 2 tickets. So in total for the raffle, right here, someone asked, I think it's from. That's 2 tickets. Win 2 front row tickets, right? But he said that the quarterbacks are under pressure right now, and that the quarterbacks, and that's good for the quarterbacks. And I agree. A competition makes every single thing better, 100%. Cam TV, what's up, man? He's saying 6'6", definitely. Man, I'm serious, man. It kind of seems like he's like 6'7". Alabama, kind of sidebar right here. Alabama is a walk-on quarterback that I explained yesterday, John Gazaniga. Remember we talked about him? He's 6'7", 252 pounds. I don't know. I don't think he's going to play, from the people I talked to, he's not like in the running at all, but I mean, he's on the roster. Roster is 20, the raffle's 25 to get in. I'll run through it here in a little while again. One of the best parts, about this was Ryan Grubb, talking about Ryan Grubb. And he explained, he was like, look, I was so happy for Ryan Grubb when he took the job at Seattle. He was. How could you not be? Of course, he wanted, Ryan Grubb to come here in the initial year. What are you going to tell your best friend? Hey, man, don't take a job in the NFL. Come on. You get a job to be an offensive coordinator, you take it. But he was like, look, things happen for a reason. Now he's here. And he talks about Ryan Grubb. He said that he's elite mindset. I talked to another source. I've been talking to people. And this particular person told me that one of the main reasons that he's confident and bullish in Alabama this year is because of Ryan Grubb running the offense. And that's not like you're like, wow, shocker. You feel that same way. So do I. I've told you, the 3 main reasons that I feel Alabama is much better this year, all the defensive starters that are returning, Ryan Grubb, and a new quarterback. That's it, right? So I think those things. Now, I've told you what I'm, a little bit concerned about. Road games, specialists, right? Right tackle. But he said that with Ryan Grubb, we gain even more momentum. And he said that Ryan Grubb is even better because he went to the NFL, which I agree. I didn't really think about that. But I think that Ryan Grubb going to the NFL, even if he was just in the NFL for 1 year, imagine all that experience and all that growth that he had. Because look, Ryan Grubb may be one of the most elite offensive minds in college football, but when you go to the NFL, you can get humbled quickly, right? because you're going up against the best of the best, period, right? He was also asked about the lack of experience at quarterback, which I think is 100% true. I mean, none of these guys have had meaningful time at all, period. I mean, even Ty, who's expected to be the starter, what is his, I mean, he has limited experience. Limited, okay? But he said that you have to be confident in your quarterbacks, of course. That's like coach speak, and that's obvious. But he's looking for consistency with these guys. And he's saying that as a staff, they're showing that they do have confidence in these quarterbacks. And then again, hitting on the fact that quarterback competition is pressure, which is good. So now kind of looking overall at the schedule, and we've been doing this all week with the teams, and I appreciate you guys, everybody being here. We got almost 200 people in here. We got game tickets as our raffle, $25 to get in. 2 front row tickets to Bama's home opener, Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe, Section C, Row 2. That's 2 tickets, Saturday, September 6th, 6:45, kickoff, Bryant-Denny Stadium. The tickets will be sent to you the day before the game. That's for 2 tickets. I'll show you on this side real quick. Here's the proof of the tickets. I purchased these yesterday on SeatGeek. So $371 is the total value. Raffle, $25 to get in. You want to get in multiple times, it's up to you. Hopefully we can spin the pinwheel tomorrow. But $371 for 2 tickets for an absolutely insane view to go watch the Crimson Tide. All right. So that's what we got cooking this week. And hopefully we can spin the pinwheel by tomorrow. But, you know, as we, you know, kind of scrub real quick and we look at Alabama's schedule, and we've been doing this all week, kind of looking at how many games we projecting Alabama to win. Are you surprised right now that Alabama's, I think the bar is for them to win like 9.5 games. So let's look at the schedule real quick in detail. So you got Florida State. You got Louisiana Monroe. That's the game I got the tickets to. We have Georgia, right, on the road. Vanderbilt. At Missouri. Tennessee. South Carolina on the road. Open week. I like where the open weeks are. LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and then a trip to the barn. All right. What are you guys feeling like? Let's start like this. Okay. Before we get to like the overall wins, Todd has us at 11-1. How do you guys feel about, has your confidence level at all changed for that week 1 opener? Because I know Tommy Castellanos is still talking, which is fine. You know, we've seen that before. Gus Malzahn is their head, football or their assistant. He's their offensive coordinator. Are you guys still really bullish that Alabama goes into Florida State and takes care of business? I am. I think that Florida State will actually be better this year. I do. I think they'll be better they can't get worse. My goodness. But I think Alabama probably uses that first game as not necessarily a marker, but it could definitely be a tone setter, right? And yeah, and Jarvis, I think Florida State absolutely brings it, but I think I can see that game being close, and it probably will be close for the first half. But I think kind of the continuity and I think the overall playmakers, it won't take Alabama long to distance themselves from opponents because they're so dangerous on offense. And I think even if it is close at halftime, I think that's where a guy like Ryan Grubb really earns his value. Is I think he, with the elite offensive mind, he's going to be able to come in that second half, and you're going to see a lot of adjustments, and you're going to see Alabama put a lot of points on the board in an absolute hurry. All right, William Steed, I got you in as well. All right, Lisa, I got you in as well. This is for the raffle, 25 to get in for the 2 tickets. I got Jared and I got Chad Kennedy. You know, they have some really good wide receivers. The Roydell Williams is their running back. Tommy Castellanos, he can move around, he can dance. I don't know too much about their defense. I don't even know if Earl Little Jr. is a starter yet. Remember, he transferred over there, which is kind of surprising. All right, let's look more at the schedule. You got Louisiana Monroe. You take care of business in this game. You get off to a 2-0 start. You take on Wisconsin, an 11 a.m. kickoff at least Central Time, right? Feel good about that game. And then, you know, you have an open week, so you have 2 weeks to prep for Georgia. And look, Georgia is going to be challenging. That is 100%. It's going to be challenging. Now, is Georgia going to be as good as they've been in the past? I don't know, but they're going to be Georgia. Nothing has changed dramatically with Georgia within the last couple of seasons to expect anything different from Georgia. I think, you know, there's kind of a narrative out there. We've even talked about it openly that Georgia might take a step back. I mean, look, it's going to be ultra challenging to play those guys on the road. And that's where I'm concerned about kind of the specialists. You get into a tricky situation where you need a big punt, you need a 42-yard field goal, games on the line, whatever, right? Vanderbilt, some payback for those guys, and Diego Pavia, who will be talking, of course, but that's what, you know, he does, and we're accustomed to that. But you handle your business because you were 7-0 last year at home. You take on Missouri, you can't let that be a trap game. You know, one of the interesting points of, you know, Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference this morning is a reporter pointed out that Kalen DeBoer is actually 15-3 against top 25 teams, right? But against non-ranked teams, he's lost a good amount of games against unranked teams. And we saw that last year, right? He didn't necessarily lose to the teams that, you know, were kind of the upper echelon. He lost to teams that we didn't think that they would lose to. The Oklahomas, the Vanderbilts, right? Even Tennessee was a little bit of a surprise, but, you know, that was on the road, whatever, Rocky Top. So you got to be able to beat. You can't let games like Missouri, you can't let games like Oklahoma be trap games during this run, okay? South Carolina, I think, will be ultra challenging as well. I know some of you feel that South Carolina might be a little bit overrated. I kind of disagree. I think that South Carolina will be really good. I think their quarterback's great. I think they have a good defense. That'll be a good game. LSU, I kind of feel that of all of the teams that we've highlighted so far in SEC Media Day, oh, shoot. Yeah, and Super Chats will get you in the raffle as well. We got Fromm in here as well. That's a big one, Fromm. You're in there. I got you in, brother. But I feel like looking at the schedule, am I wrong on this? Do I feel like LSU is a little bit, I know they got all the horses and stuff. I just feel like they're always a little bit underwhelming. I don't know. Alabama was 7-0 last year. They play at home well. It'll be late in the season, a lot on the line. I don't know. And I think Garrett Nussmeier is a good quarterback. I just don't think that he's absolutely elite. I don't know. It seems like they're a little bit overrated to me. Oklahoma, they probably have the best quarterback, or at least one of them in the entire country. And they beat Alabama last year, but last year doesn't equal this year. I don't know. I mean, I think payback as well. Eastern Illinois, I don't think the two teams have even played this time. And then you go on the road and take on Auburn and the Barn. So that's the schedule. You have 17 returners. Your quarterback really doesn't have excuses at this point in time, or experience at this point in time. JTL, what's up, dog? I see you inside the comment box. Yeah, and even that first game that LSU plays, you know, against Clemson, I don't even see them winning that game. And I don't think Clemson is a title contender, at least in my opinion. But here's the retail price on those two tickets for the opener, and that's for two tickets, just to make that clear, $371. So it's $25 to get in. Venmo, Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. And hopefully we can spin it tomorrow. And when I get the tickets, then I'll send the tickets to you. It looks like I get them the day before, which is the 5th. So it's the home opener to Bryant-Denny. So here's the view from the seats. This would be tight. And here's to kind of recap it all. Game tickets, win 2 front row tickets to Bama's home opener. Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe, Section C, row 2. And I'll keep this open till Thursday. So we'll do this today. So if you're watching on the rewatch, it's still available. The ways to get in, Venmo_Bama or Bama_YouTube, and then Cash App Bama YouTube. So Super Chats work as well. And like I said earlier today, probably around 12, I'll upload Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference right here to the YouTube channel. Cool? Let me ask you, when you look to Alabama's schedule, right? Hey, Crimson Angel, it's Bama_YouTube. You got to make sure you hit that _YouTube. And the last 4 digits of my phone number are 59. You're going to love this. The last 4 digits of my phone number, if you find me on Venmo, 5953. Here's your trivia. Okay, trivia. Does anybody know what 5953 spells out? Hey, Jake, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat, bro. Jake asked this. Any news about Bray Hubbard? Haven't heard anything about him. Yeah, absolutely going to be a starter. He's had a wonderful offseason. I think this is one of the fan favorites. I think when you look at a player like Bray Hubbard, he was a guy that showed zero entitlement. If you watched Alabama's, there was a couple documentaries. But Bray Hubbard came through when his team needed him. He was a reserve. When Bray Hubbard came in, the defense played better. The secondary played better. The secondary played with more confidence. He's a quiet leader, probably the hardest hitter pound for pound on the team. I think him and Keon Sabb is a really good addition, but I wouldn't discount like a player like Zay Mincy. I wouldn't discount like a player like Drake Kirkpatrick. I think when you look to Alabama's secondary, right, and specifically the safety position, I think you have to be optimistic because of the players that are back there. And look, a lot of the players that we had that we've spoken about, one of the guys that we really haven't mentioned is Keon Sabb. Keon Sabb's good. He's good. And he's not going to get worse. I mean, I think at times, you know, he was susceptible to the deep ball, but I don't know. He's good. I like Keon Sabb, to be honest. We just haven't really talked about him, and probably because of the fan love for Bray Hubbard. And you're right. Yeah, the last 4 digits to my phone number, 5953, otherwise known as KYL. Say it inside the comment box. Eee, just kidding. But yeah, I think that, yeah, how did you guys do that? Did you guys just pull up the digits? Oh, yeah, you could tell. Yeah, KYLE. Yeah, Angel, I got you, man. All right, Angel, I got you as well. But yeah, Jake, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Any other questions that we have? And like I said, 12 p.m. or around there, I'll be releasing Coach Kalen DeBoer's additional press conference. And I'll probably be back this afternoon, you know, to kind of recap the day's news and go over key quotes and, you know, different things that came out. I know right now a lot of people talking about Tommy Castellanos and him going out at Alabama. What do you expect him to do? I mean, he's a quarterback, right? I'm just glad that the whole Coach Saban coming back hasn't, you know, infiltrated and taken away from Coach Kalen DeBoer. There was an article, actually, that talked about Coach Saban recruiting, and Kalen DeBoer was like, look, why not? He was like, I checked with compliance. Compliance said that he could roll through. Why not make it a great experience for the players? And I thought it was genius because, think about it, Tank Jones, Xavier Crowell, right? Sedarian Morgan, those guys grew up as Alabama fans. So can you imagine how happy they were and their families to see Coach Saban just for a minute? I don't think Coach Saban's going to their house and recruiting. I just think he was around. And the way that the article said that Coach Saban was just like he had an open period, so he came and visited with the guys. And plus, did you see this? What's up, Jarvis, with the super chat? Did you see this on social media? So Tank Jones ordered Wingstop. We love Wingstop, okay? We love it. I love Wingstop. Their ranch dressing is a 5-star ranch dressing. Is there a better ranch dressing than Wingstop? So Tank Jones, right? One of the most coveted prospect in Alabama right now. He ordered some Wingstop. He used his real name on the order. He gets his bag. You know how you get your bag at Wingstop, and they roll Tide on it. I mean, come on. That's the type of energy that we're looking for, right? Jerry, what's up, dog? Good to see you, man. He said that's the smoothest DoorDash ever. 100%. King Grizz, I missed that, man. What's Sedarian Morgan had to say last night? Their chicken is too soggy? No, man. I think Wingstop, I haven't, thank goodness I haven't experienced that. But no, it's been good to me. All right, let's see what we got in the raffle real quick so far. Because we got Fromm up in here with the double Dutch. We got Jared. We got Chad Kennedy, my boy. Foosaxley. I've never been to Foosaxley's. Never. There was a time where like Foosaxley's was just like it was packed, right? You couldn't get in. All right, we got William Steed, Lisa, and Crimson Angel. All right. Yeah, a new place that people are going absolutely bananas for here in Tuscaloosa, I promise you, is this new coffee place. What is it called? Have you seen this? New Coffee Tuscaloosa. It's crazy. I haven't even seen. Oh, 7 Brew. Have you seen this? Has anybody been to 7 Brew? I'm not kidding you. What I'm about to tell you is facts. So 7 Brew, yeah, Nick, 7 Brew is right on 15th, kind of by Guthrie's. And the 7 Brew goes from like the middle of 15th, which is almost by Central High School, all the way down to McFarland. That's how long the line is. I've never been there. I would never wait in a line like that. What I don't know what's going on over there. Have you seen this? Oh, Eric, Jarvis, you're on that 7 Brew? I never been. All right, this isn't the pinwheel, but this is just to show you where we're at for the pinwheel. For the $371 ticket value, okay? If we were to spin the wheel, these are your chances right now. Look at that. We got plenty of open spots for the 2 tickets to go watch Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe. All right. It's a $371 value. And if you're watching on the rewatch, you could definitely get in. How to get into the raffle, $25, right? There's no cap on the raffle. If you want to get in a bunch of times, it's up to you. Game tickets, 2 front row tickets to Bama's home opener against Louisiana Monroe. Saturday, September 6th, 6:45. I'll send you the tickets, and you can watch Alabama beat up on Louisiana Monroe. You know, I think in a game like this, too, you probably see all quarterbacks play. I've never been, you know what, another place that I'm actually sad to admit this, but I have never been to Catfish Heaven. Okay, I'm gonna go to Catfish Heaven, and I'm gonna do I'll either do a video from there, or I'll just go and, I don't know, I'll post something from it. Dynasty wise, tonight, who's after? Well, the last game that I played was South Carolina. So I don't know who's after South Carolina on my dynasty. What does the schedule look like? I mean, we talk about Alabama football schedule all the time, and I guess I still don't know it. So let's see. I still play. I play LSU, Oklahoma. Those games are both at home, thank goodness. Eastern Illinois, and then at Auburn. So we're sitting in a good spot right now. What are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're 7-1. You know, if I didn't win, you know, that game against South Carolina for me was crucial, right? But we're able to take care of business and get the job done. So 7-1, take on LSU next. And I probably see if I'll stream maybe tonight. 2 big ones coming up though. And if you haven't watched me stream, I stream in the evening time. It's fun, and I'm hungry too, Nick. I might have to dip out to Catfish Heaven. Yeah, Nicholas, that's for 2 tickets. So this is the view right here. This should say 371. But yeah, here's where the tickets are for these front row seats. This is a screenshot from SeatGeek. So $25 to get in, you know, to the raffle, but this is the view. And at first, Nicholas, because Nicholas is like, damn, he's like 371. I know, because at first I was looking at the Wisconsin game, and I was kind of poking around with like different seats and stuff like that. Man, the prices are getting crazy. And once Alabama becomes first in the country or top 5 or wherever they finish, I mean, who knows how much the tickets are going to be? I don't know if we'll be able to do them on the raffle. This might be cheap, unless we go up to the way top, which is fine. I mean, an experience is an experience, right? Oh, Alex 1738. What's up, dog? You want me to go to 7 Brew? I want to go to Catfish Heaven. Man. There's like, yeah, I might have to go to one of these places. I'll check it out. So yeah, I gotta go. I guess I gotta go to Catfish Heaven and 7 Brew. But Catfish Heaven or Thug's Mansion. Anybody know what Thug's Mansion is? You guys don't know what that is. All right. But I appreciate you guys. Look, keep your heads on the swivel. Like 12:30, I'll upload, Kalen DeBoer's second press conference as soon as I can. I'll make some short videos, and I'll be back in the afternoon to be able to, come back and recap the day's events. But if you still want to get into the raffle, you know what to do. I've spoken about it, a few times. So get into the raffle. Season's coming up. We might do this, a few times before the season. Thanks for kicking it with me today. I really appreciate it. And before you dip out, remember our new sponsor, Ketchum Travel, right? Travel agency with no booking fees, specializing in cruise vacations, land resorts, game day travel, car rentals, independently owned vendors like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess Cruise Line. Contact my boy Hunter 334-797-6498. You can screenshot this, and when you call in, definitely tell them Roll Tide. And then when you go to Sonic, get that cherry limeade. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for kicking it with me. Oh, King Riz, you know what's up with Doug's Mansion, right? Ain't no place I'd rather be. Chilling with homies and family. Eating some Sonic with me in the sky. All right. I love you guys. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine July 16th. Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Roll Tide fam, and I'll catch you next time right here from Catfish Heaven. All right. See you, fam. Love y'all. Keep your heads on the swivel for that next Kalen DeBoer press conference. All right. See you, fam. Late.